Hello again from Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a job costing, full accounting, and profit management software for the professional home builder. In this video, I'm going to talk about another way to look at averages and how you can use unit costs to help you start a new budget or just to review the per unit cost based on whichever kind of square feet you might like to look at, like frame square feet or living square feet and this and that. I'm going to demonstrate, we've talked before about doing budgets and setting up cost codes with default unit costs to come into a new budget. But I'm going to demonstrate how when you start a new budget you can look at history and unit costs and perhaps decide what your unit costs are running. We'll focus on framing materials, I think, just because this particular builder that shared has some different jobs we can use for that, and deciding how much per frame square feet things are averaging and then using that as a default unit cost to drop in when we start a new budget. So first of all, I opened the cost code setup, and we have several videos here under help about how we use these default unit prices, how we can tell it to use the frame square feet from the job when we set it up, when we start a new budget, and default in this unit price of $4 per frame square feet. But let's take a look at what our averages have been and if perhaps we might want to change this default unit. But I'm going to show you how you can see all of that. And let's go home. And let's go to our budgets, estimates, and let's play like we're starting a new budget. We have one job down here that I just quickly set up just now. And I'm going to do create budget. And I'm going to create budget from that cost codes master. And we'll just do without generic items just for this sample. And is it okay to create a budget using the cost code masters and the pricing defaults? Now this is up here in the list of jobs with budgets, and you can see how it brought in some costs for us. We'll have to fill in others to finish our job. But that's because we did have some of our cost codes in the cost codes master set up based on using a square feet and bringing in a default unit price. So let's just ignore all of these, and let's go down to framing package, and you can see it already has an amount, and that's because it brought in the frame square feet for the job. If you want to look at the specs for the job, you can do that here where I set up the job on the job setup. But if I do apply specs, you can see the specs that I've set up, and for frame square feet I set up 4530 for this particular job. You can add more specs right here, but you also do that on the job setup window. It's going to refresh my budget for me because it thinks I applied a bunch of new specs. So hang on, let's get back to framing materials. Framing package, that this is what this builder calls it. So anyway, you see how it brought in the frame square feet, multiplied it times that unit default unit price that we had set up on the master. But let's say we're wondering about that, and this is what I'd like to show you. If you click history, it's going to show you various information that you can review for other jobs, etc., and how much has been actual costs with unit costs. So that's what I'd like to review here for framing package. And this is what I really want to show in this video. So first of all, it says select a priority measure to use, and since we're talking about the framing package, let's select frame square feet and do a search. What this is going to do is show you all jobs that do have a measure in for frame square feet. It's going to show you the budget amount, the total budget amount, the total actual cost so far, amount over or under budget, the unit budget based on dividing the budget with dividing it by the frame square feet, the unit actual dividing by the frame square feet, etc. And so then down here at the bottom, it's giving you some averages of those based on the number of jobs that are here. Now, we probably just want to look at ones that obviously have been closed, that have a close date, and ones that seem to be similar square feet. We don't want to select this one. This is the new job we've been working on, and it has 0 actual costs. We'd like to maybe do this one, and let's see, this one's been closed. It's 48. We might want to include it to do an average. And here's a 4,700 frame square feet. So we're looking at those and deciding, let's just look at the averages for maybe those 3 jobs. So what I've done is I've check marked them, and then I'm going to use this hyperlink for filter checked. And now you can see that just my check marked ones are here. And you can see that the unit actual is running averaging $5.54. So we might want to consider changing, you can review all these things and look at them however you like, but this is on closed jobs and what our unit per frame square feet has been running on our closed jobs. So maybe our $4 just isn't enough. We might need to use $5.55, or some of these came in pretty close to $6. So we might just decide to be safe. We need to change that to $6, that default. So while we're budgeting, and if I close this, before we've gotten any bids or anything, we might be deciding that we're going to use $6. So I typed in a unit price of 6, changing this to $27,180. Now you can see once I submit this, that this amount will change to that. But what I'm wanting to remember is to go back to my cost code setup and edit this default so that next time I start a new budget, and these are just defaults only. This is not on a budget. This is just the default on my master, and I'm going to submit that. So now you can see that my default for framing package is $6 unit per frame square feet. So you can see how you can review that while you're working on a budget. Decide to maybe change some of your master unit price defaults. And let me go back to the budget here. You can see how these things are open in tabs. And let's look at the history again. And with unit costs and frame square feet. The other thing I wanted to show you is if for some reason you want to print this information out, you would need to export this. This is called a grid. It's a different kind of thing than a lot of our other windows, but I use this grid because we have this filter checkbox that we can use. And we decided we were just going to do filter to some of these, maybe those 3. And I filtered. Now let me show you how to unfilter these before we get to well, let's get these to, let me show you how you get out of this filter. Checkbox this, then uncheck it means uncheck everything, and then I can do filter checked records, and I can do, which cleared everything out, and I could do the frame square feet again. Basically you have to play with that. And the other thing is, over here is a button for edit measure, and that's just editing that measure code that we brought up before. But let's just filter like we did to some closed things. And if for some reason you want to send that stuff to Excel, you can click that little Excel button and then open with Microsoft Excel. And I just want to show you a couple of things. Microsoft takes over and exports these in whatever bizarre way they decide to, but I'm hovering over this dividing line at the top on the column and double clicking to get these where I can see them all, so they're not so wide. You have to sometimes do your own formatting and know Excel a little bit. But I'd also like to not have these in whole numbers, all of this unit stuff right here. So I'm going to click for all those columns and click this comma button to get these like I want, with 2 decimal points and stuff, not the whole numbers for those unit costs. It'll just take over. And you'll have to do a little bit of formatting. Then of course you can use tools to print this Excel thing. Maybe when it exports to Excel, it's not going to bring in the totals that CHS is doing. You might have to do your own averaging here, formulas that you might know how to do. And this is not a video about teaching Excel, but there is a way, like I said, to get that data to Excel if you're needing to for your various jobs and then print it out. I don't want to save those changes, but I think maybe you can get the concept, you know, and that's for this cost code, frame square feet. If you were for some reason wanting to do some other thing, I don't know what it might be, figure out what your HVAC rough is based on, I don't know, living square feet, and do a search. So you can see how you can use that, do your check marks on the ones that you'd like to compare it to. You know, maybe we want to do this one and this one and this one. Those are all closed, filter checked. And kind of look at what our unit 1.55 is for rough, for living square feet. This builder isn't basing this on living square feet. Electrical rough would be another good one to do based on living square feet. I think you probably already got the concept, so I won't spend too much more time. Here's a closed one for 3,200 square feet, 3,500 square feet, 3,400 square feet, filter checked. We're now looking at the unit cost for 3,710. Electrical rough, seeing that the unit actual is coming out to maybe $1.70 per, or something like that, per living square feet. You can see that he's using $1.85, but you can see how you can review that and see what your unit costs are coming out to, and that should help you do some of your budgeting. I hope that helps, and thank you for watching.